Thank God his pants stayed on.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the Immortal Hulk. Didn't think I was going to get my hands on this, and then lo and behold, I walk into Forbidden Planet yesterday. What doth my eyes see before me? A big, savage, Immortal Select Hulk, and oh my stars and garters, I had to get this guy off the shelf and make him part of the collection, because I didn't think I was ever going to get him. I thought I missed my pre-order window about a year ago, because he's got a few months behind him now. He's been around for a while. This ain't a new figure. But he is a good one. And I don't own him, so he's new to me. Or at least I didn't until now. And I'm glad that I do. But a couple little caveats too. Because at first I thought, oh, well, he's definitely replacing the 80th Hulk. But then I get them both out and I'm like, he probably will. But it's not as obvious and cut and dry as I originally thought. Why? Here's why. Because there are certain actual design elements of the 80th Hulk that are superior to this Select one. I referred to the Select figures as the bougie alternative to Marvel Legends, which actually isn't always the case. You know what this Hulk doesn't have that this one does? Or this one does have that this one doesn't? That's a more logical way of saying it. Butterfly joints. Baby, the 80th Hulk, you can rear his arms right back for a rah kind of look. That's so cool. I love this. This dude, this is older Select. Come on, guys. You're meant to be like the high-end, highfalutin guys. It's 2022. We're moving on into 2023. Where are the butterfly joints, man? Come on! Seriously? So you can have your Hulk, but you can't have him. And I've kind of got accustomed to having that as my sort of Hulk pose. But you know what? I'm starting to accept that this is also fine, because granted, like this, human beings don't bend this way either. My brain has just got silly. Like that's like, your arms don't go back that far anyway. So this is a far more realistic sort of pose. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess Model Behaviour is becoming a snobby toy channel. Oh, it doesn't have butterfly joints. Oh, well, this is a garbage figure. What's that? No toe articulation. Oh, what will the... Yeah, that's what you're getting used to now. So, yes, all right, he doesn't have the butterfly joints, but he does have a lot of other good stuff going for him. First of all, the heft, the size, the chonk. You could murder someone with this. Just saying. But that's not Model Behaviour. But like this guy, he feels lighter, you know? And what's just amazing is that we talk about the price of plastic and stuff. 30 quid. 30 quid for all of this. He's so heavy. And then you see like other figures where it's like more than that. 35, 40 bucks. And you're like, what? One of these things is not like the other. Select. I mean, more power to you. And it's not like it's cheap plastic. It's not like I pick this up and think like, oh, this, yeah, I can tell this ain't worth that much. No, this feels like I've got a lot of money. I feel like I've literally converted 30 British pounds into a plastic figure. That's what this feels like. This feels like 30 quid's worth of plastic. That's really, really good. So taking a full-on look at him, head to toe, if you shall. Let the dog see the rabbit. The head, I like what they're doing, but also it's good, but I think I just have to let my eyes adjust. Because I really like this head. But I feel like this is certainly a more savage Hulk. First of all, like, elephant in the room. Got elephants, dogs, rabbits. This is displaying animal behavior. This is not Immortal Hulk. I guess they just chose Immortal Hulk because that was the name of the current title, but this is in no way looks like the Immortal Hulk, which actually I'm fine with. If I'm only going to have one standalone Hulk in my collection, I don't want the weird monkey ape-like Immortal Hulk look. I want more classic. This is classic. This is Savage Hulk. And Savage Hulk is cool. I dig that. So this is actually fine. And also, he does have, just like the 80th, he's got the nice kind of green hue to the hair as well. And then, of course, looking at the face itself, all the red-pink gums with the teeth. It's nice. It's nice. But there's also, it's so funny with faces, there's just a certain je ne sais quoi where you can't, like, put your finger on it, but he feels a bit like frozen. Of course he's frozen. He's a static action figure, but it doesn't feel like a picture has been taken of him going, rah! It feels like he's just been, like he's holding it. You know, it's funny. It just doesn't feel like it's in motion. Whereas for whatever reason, this feels more like he's actually. Whereas this does feel less so. It's weird, I know, but I'm a weird guy. You know, I think we know this. After 2 years of model behavior, you know this. That's why you keep coming back. So I do like the face sculpt and all of the sort of detail that's going into it. There are some nice darker sort of washes on here to bring out some of the cracks and the nuances. But I just feel like it doesn't feel as alive as the 80th one. But maybe I'll adjust to it. Seriously, I fear change. Man, if I was running a shop, I wouldn't even give change. So this will take some time, and I think I'll adjust to it and get more used to this face, and then you know what? I'll probably love it. Then going down, of course, the proportions of this are fantastic. Love it. Just the way that it's anatomically put together, terrific. One thing I think is a bit out of proportion in a good way, and I'm going to get to that later. But yeah, shoulder straps, it's all just like, big, hulking Hulk. But yeah, some more, I want to bend his arms back a bit more, but I can't do. But again, it's not the end of the world. Torso swivel, super gorgeous. That's fine. Of course, you know, you twist him quite a bit and you're going to get a little bit of air there, but also it's like, well, of course there's going to be some air somewhere. It's not like it's a big, ugly disc waist or anything. And I don't think there is any swivel in the waist. But guys, help me out here if you own this Hulk, because I can't get the waist to swivel. I think it is just a solid part. But then again, it took me ages to get the thighs to swivel. Oh my goodness. Anyone else who owns this figure, tell me if you had the same problems. I really thought I was going to break him. I really thought, because also, when you can't get the thigh to swivel, it's like having like a little seed stuck in your tooth, and it's like, oh, this is so annoying. Like, I want to get it. I can just ignore it and it won't bother me, but I know it should be like not there. It's the same with the thighs. Like, I could have happily posed him in a perfectly good stance without the thigh swivel, but because I know that they should swivel, I'm like, come on! Ugh. So close to breaking the hips, and I'm so glad I didn't, but I had to bathe him in hot water for the longest time. And then what I had to do is, like, you gotta push up so it doesn't really have anywhere to go and twist. But man, it was touch and go. I could have broken this figure so easily, being the big clumsy oaf that I am. Kind of glad that I didn't. So yeah, finally we got the thighs swiveling, and all was right with the world. As for the waist, help me out. I assume that it can't swivel, because you don't need it to. You got the torso. And then, yeah, the lovely ripped trousers. I feel like what would really make these peak is if, like, on the 20th anniversary Hulk, they had a little bit of white, a little bit of frayed white dry brushing on the edges. That would have been really nice. But it does have a little gold button, and I appreciate that. It's just a little thing that brings it more to life, along with the black wash on here as well. This one, I don't think has the black wash. So yeah, again, score one more point for the select there. And then the thing that I said was slightly out of proportion, but in a good way, these big old plates of meat. These big flat feet. This guy stands up so easily. It's just, it's so lovely to have a figure and just go plonk, boom, there you go. Because what they've also done is they've flattened out the feet as well, which might sound like an obvious thing to do, but so many companies don't do it. I'm looking at you, Storm Collectibles, Goro. But yeah, nice big flat flipper feet. He can just stand there so easily. And also the sculpting on the feet. If you're like a Tarantino foot guy, these are some nice feet right here. You got all of the different little lines and veins and cracks and toenails. Really, really nice. I was about to say for a second, oh, maybe they could have painted his toenails darker green. No, that would have looked stupid. It would have looked like he had nail varnish. Again, nothing wrong with that, but that's not what the Hulk does. So yeah, the rest of this, you got the lovely articulation in the hands, and of course you can put the fists in as well. So you can have the fisted hands or the rah hands, and those are both really fun. I'm always going to take the open special claws kind of look because it's just more dynamic in my eye. But we also get the robot head, so I'm going to put the Hulk bot head on here. And this is fun. You know, if you wanted to keep the 80th one, you could have the Hulk and then Mecha Hulk. So that's kind of fun. I would love it if Select did like a full-on like cyborg torso arm version of Mecha Hulk. That would be fun. Just having the slightly robot head, nah, it's not enough to make it worth having the figure posed like this. But the amount of work that has gone into the sculpting here, you look at the way that he's got the gnarly ripped away skin with the pink flesh going on there. It's full-on Terminator style. Does look really, really cool. So I do love this. I just feel like more, basically, more mecha on here would be so badass. But then you're talking about a completely different figure. So that's just saying, Select, you might want to keep that one in reserve just in case. Because for the little taste of robot that we've got going on here, it does look really, really cool. And then if you want to talk about swapping some different elements, you can do, just for funsies. Obviously, the Select Hulk is bigger, considerably bigger than the 80th. But if you're just wondering, out of interest, what it looks like to have the 80th head on here, it almost kind of sort of works. It's a bit ridiculous. He does look like he's had his head shrunk in Beetlejuice. But it kind of almost works, but ultimately, no. If it did work, if this head was a bit bigger, I would be tempted to have that head swap. But no, I think the ultimate Hulk, for me, is the full-on Diamond Select. However, I do want to give him the shirt. Once you put the shirt from the 80th Hulk on here, I think this is what brings him to life. That's why this is now like my go-to Hulk, because it just breaks up all the green. Because there's so much green going on here, with a lovely wash, by the way, as well. Not sure if it's a wash, but just like highlight, like the chest, you got like a bit of a lighter green. It does have some more dynamism to him. But throw the shirt on here, and it just becomes more high-end. So yeah, I really love this. A few things to gotta kind of like wrap my head around, but on the whole, very happy. Let's do some size comparisons. So here we go with the size comparisons, and the most obvious one first, the 80th anniversary Hulk, and side by side at full standing pose, you can see the difference there. He absolutely dwarfs Captain America, but with the Hulk, that doesn't really matter too much because he can get as big as the artist really wants to draw him. So even next to Thor and Mezco Iron Man, I still think that works really well, especially with my display where I will have Hulk bent and crouching, so it does bring him down a little bit. Speaking of down, Thor is surprisingly difficult to stand sometimes. It's just strangely weighted, I think, with the cape and whatnot, but we get there in the end, and then you can see this is the Avengers team I want, the best of all these different lines. I'd be tempted to get that Mafex Thor just so that I can have a Mafex character in with the Legends, Mezcos, and Select. Then just for fun, throw in the retro Scarlet Spider. You can see the Pizza Spider-Man body is so small, that really puts it into proportion. Then my Spider-Side custom is on the Caliban Buck, which I think is such a great big Roidy Magoo type body. It works really well. You can throw in Doctor Doom there. We get a bit of a green theme going on. I really love the retro Doom. I know most people prefer the darker color scheme one. Then another Select, we've got Uatu, the Watcher. That's the re-release of the Watcher there. I'm so glad they did that. More re-releases, please. And the big retro Kingpin. Again, this is where Kingpin actually looks more human, because normally I think the retro Kingpin is actually like a little too big. Mezco Thanos, one of my absolute favorites. I think the MCU fight between Hulk and Thanos might not be so one-sided if these were the proportions they were working with. And just for fun, some different lines. We've got McFarlane Shao Kahn, and that's a fun little death battle fantasy booking there. We've got another McFarlane, the Necro Warrior. This is just fun to show different lines. I kind of like doing this. An excuse to get out different figures. We got NECA
Ming the Merciless, bit of a green theme here. It ain't easy being green, apparently. And finally, keeping it green, we got Michelangelo from from NECA.
So guys, as a final grade for my Select Immortal Hulk, I'm going to give him an extremely solid 8.5 out of 10. That is very, very high on the model behavior scale. But when you think about value for money as well, 30 bucks. 30 bucks and you get all of this. It's so impressive what Diamond Select can do with that budget, putting it together. If you just had some slightly nicer engineering features, like maybe toe articulation or butterfly joints, some thunderclap hands, a power effect, that would tip him up further. But still, did I say 8.5? We'll go for 8.5. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. And I'm happy to, because this Hulk, yeah, he might not be immortal, but he's pretty incredible. And guys, that does it for my review of the Immortal Hulk. What do you think about the figure? What do you think about Selects in general? Comment below, let me know. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Hello there! If you enjoyed this episode, then be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want to throw some money at Dave, and why wouldn't you, go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior. Or you could join and get a channel membership in the YouTube membership section. Go and do that. You don't even have to change websites. And also, go over to the Facebook page and the Instagram too. Do all of that stuff. And you can also go check out Dave's other channels, Model Behavior Wrestling and Displaying Miscellaneous Behavior. Oh, and go buy a t-shirt. Not enough people buy t-shirts. Hey, Tony! Cup of coffee. Big time